Denver is dying. And I've lived in Denver most of my life, aside from moving around here and there a couple times. And I've never seen anything like what I'm seeing right now. The amount of businesses, restaurants, bars, clubs that have closed in Denver just in the last few months alone is astounding. And some of these are businesses that were doing very well. Some of them appear to be doing well and must not have been. But not only that, the downtown area of Denver, the commercial part of downtown Denver, the high-rise buildings are almost empty. There's been studies done about it. People have talked about it in news media. And not only that, but also the apartment buildings near central Denver are half empty. And they can't get them filled even to the capacity they want to get them filled to, even running major specials. So I don't really know what's going on. I don't know if I'm pretty sure it's not just Denver. I think this is happening across the board. And I think it might be pointing toward the next collapse. You let me know what's going on in the nearest city to you if you're seeing the same things. And you can also let me know what you think might be going on. I've been following markets for years. I've been in real estate for years. I still haven't really seen anything quite like this. Maybe 2008, 2009, 2010 in certain places. But even then, this looks a little bit different. So let me know your take.
Denver just made national news in real estate, and not in a good way. And there are actually 2 headlines that came out in the past week that you need to hear, so stay with me. Number 1, we are leading the entire country in price reductions. Nearly half of all active listings in Denver right now have had to already cut their price. Home values are down nearly 10% year over year, and there are almost 10,000 active listings on the market right now. That is up 10% from last month alone. Sellers who price based on 2022 numbers are getting a hard reality check, and buyers are still being selective even with all those discounts on the table. Number 2, instead of dropping their price, a lot of those sellers are just becoming landlords instead. Denver leads the nation in what Zillow is calling accidental landlords. Almost 5% of rentals on the market right now were homes that could not sell. To put that in perspective, the national average is actually 2.3. We are more than double that. Homes are also sitting on a median of 70 days on the market, up 25% from last year. Most of all these accidental landlords say they will rent for a year but then sell. But studies show only 15 to 25% actually end up selling. So if you are a seller right now, here is what you want to know. The truth is there is no magic formula right now. Even well-priced, well-presented homes are sitting longer than they used to. But sellers who go in with realistic expectations and flexible strategy are the ones closing deals. Over 3,600 homes closed last month alone. 2 headlines, 1 city. The market does not care about what your neighbor sold for in 2022. It only cares about today, and today requires a different playbook.
Hey guys, so I keep seeing this thing where Denver's trying to keep bars open till 4 a.m. We're not Vegas, we're not Scottsdale. I don't know. The solution they're thinking to making downtown busier and better is to keep bars open till 4. Do you realize strip clubs won't really survive? Because why would you want to go to a strip club whenever you could just stay at a bar till 4 a.m. and not pay an entry fee? Do you know what I mean? I can drink till 4 a.m. at a bar. Why would I go to a strip club? Actually pisses me off. I don't understand. Do you know how scary it gets around 12 a.m. In ballpark in Denver? Do you know how many killing goes on? No, we don't need that. There's dumb people after 12 a.m. Nothing good happens after midnight. Do you think I want crazy ass people in my bar till 4 a.m. Denver? You guys are dumb.
When she brought the strip club thing, it made me think maybe she works at one of those types of establishments. So maybe she's concerned that it's, infringing upon her money. That's kind of my thought.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think that was my impression as well. Does this young lady work in the strip club? Wow. When you take a look at what's going on in Denver, and actually even bigger than Denver in Colorado, what you're seeing are the results of many years of Democratic progressive leadership. And people who put in place taxes, regulations, all sorts of continual things that really inhibit businesses' ability to actually thrive. And so we've had Colorado now is the 6th most regulated state in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and businesses, you simply can't survive. So what you have happening here are businesses closing. Denver used to have a very rich restaurant, downtown restaurant area and stuff because of the fact that they put in minimum wage hikes going from like $12 to $19. Those places are going out of business, right? You have large corporations like Palantir exiting the state because the legislature has put so much regulations in place that it just has become a very business unfriendly place. What they do is they impose regulations that ultimately drive up the cost of everything. And then what they do is they point to those rich, greedy capitalists as the reason that things are absolutely bad and horrible. So, here in Colorado, as I said, one of the things that we're trying to do, at least a small group of us, is get back to a place where, we have people talking to each other and focused on the real issues that are driving what one might call economic disaster in Colorado, get together and start to focus on issues that impact us versus on political parties or personalities. But Denver, oh my goodness, it's not good at all. I mean, when you start to take a look at the homelessness that has been allowed to accumulate over the years, it's difficult. I don't even go downtown anymore. It's because it's unsafe. It's not a desirable place to go. There's no parking. Right, in any parking that you can find is extremely expensive. And what the people, let's say the Denver City Council and the people creating the regulations in Denver are doing, they're just doing things that make it more difficult for people not only to move in and have great homes, but even to maintain the homes that they have. One of the big regulations in Denver right now is if you're building a new house, well, in that new house, you have to put in the infrastructure for an electric car. Well, what if you don't want an electric car? Today in Colorado, I think the number is there's $125,000 in costs before you drive the first nail into a house because of regulations for state and county and local regulations. So it's absolutely out of control here in Colorado.
And it's funny you mentioned Palantir. Palantir has been booming over the past probably 2 or 3 years since they won that contract, that federal contract. Yeah. And they moved in February to Florida. Go figure.
They said, we're out of here. I mean, and Colorado used to be a business-friendly, absolutely great state. If you want to see some real mountains, come to Colorado, right? It's an absolutely lovely place environmentally, but politically speaking, we have people that have been control over the last 12 years that have actually been driving not only businesses out of the state, but people out of the state as well.
Stop. If you're carrying credit card debt right now, you're literally getting charged interest while you're watching this video. Think about that. You're working 40, 50, maybe 60 hours a week, and the credit card companies are making money off your paycheck before you even get to enjoy it. If you're only making minimum payments, you're not getting ahead. You're just feeding the interest. That's exactly why I wanted to tell you about PDS debt. If you've got credit card debt, personal loans, or medical bills, PDS debt may be able to reduce up to half of what you owe. Instead of juggling multiple payments every month, they can help you roll everything into one lower monthly payment. The process couldn't be easier. It starts with a free 30-second personalized assessment. It won't affect your credit. There's no minimum credit score required, and you'll quickly find out what options are available to you. Here's the part you can't afford to ignore. Every day you keep a balance on your credit cards, it's costing you money. The sooner you see options, the sooner you can start saving. In fact, your savings begin the day you complete the assessment. PDS Debt is the top rated company in the industry with thousands of 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. So you're working with a company that's earned people's trust. Don't let another paycheck disappear into interest payments. Go to pdsdebt.com/wise and take your free 30-second personalized assessment today. That's pdsdebt.com/wise. Now let's get back into the video. When are people going to realize that these policies do not work? When are they going to realize it? I mean, we're starting to see a trend here.
You just took
we saw it in New York City. You see what's happening in Philly. You see what's going on in Seattle. You see what's happening in Chicago. You see what's happening in LA, San Francisco. There is a trend here that when you overregulate, you overtax, and you put these crazy far left progressives in office, companies say, you know what? We can't do this. And they move to places like Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Alabama. There is a trend here. When are they going to wake up and realize and smell the coffee like, hey, this doesn't work?
Yeah, well, one of the things that, and one of the reasons I started writing was that I'm sitting here observing this stuff, my wife and I, and I'm saying to myself, why aren't people being made aware of this stuff? Key thing is to get more of us out there beginning to point out what's going on and making people and helping people to understand that it's the policies, right? And the people that are creating the policies that are actually driving things to the worst place that it is right now. And I'll give you one example. Back in 2022, the legislature here in Colorado proposed a bill. Fortunately, it fell, but the bill basically said that if I got ready to sell my home, I would have to give the state the first right of refusal to buy it. And if I didn't give them that refusal, they could fine me up to $50,000. It's like, holy smoly, what the heck is that? And then the second bill that was a companion bill that said that once they bought my home, they could, in the middle of our neighborhood, they could buy my home, tear it down, and put up an apartment building, right? Which then does what? It destroys the property value of the
every other home in that community.
Exactly. Yeah. So, on the one hand, what you were seeing is a leftist strategy and policy to really destroy the value of property. In essence, the goal is to take away our ability to have our own property, and that property, of course, for me and for most people, is that you grow wealth in your home and the appreciation of the value of your home. They want to destroy it.
I've got a friend out in Colorado, and he told me at the end of last year that it's going to get bad because the minimum wage, I believe, this year in Denver or in the state of Colorado rose to $19.29.
It's in Denver. Yeah.
Yeah, in Denver. And it's already a tourist destination. People want to go see the mountains. They want to be in the scene, go see a Nuggets game. How can you do that when you rise the minimum wage to $19.29? And I tell a lot of my other Gen Z people that are like, well, we need the government. They need to put in a minimum wage. And I always tell them, go look at an In-N-Out menu board in California and see how much a cheeseburger has risen in the last 5 years. There is a correlation between when the government gets in, manipulates the free market, and then you think that you're getting this wage, and then everything exponentially increases as well, instead of allowing the market to fairly regulate itself through open competition. And, you had mentioned the houses as well, and the first right of refusal during the election. I come from like the debate sphere of social media. And during the election, one of the things Ms. Harris was trying to propose was the Down Payment Towards Equity Act. And what you were saying, Michael, when I read into this bill, and, the main author of it is Miss Maxine Waters, God bless her heart. If you go look in the co-sponsors for that bill, it's Brittany Peterson, who is the rep of District 7, I believe, in Colorado, which is the Denver area. And in that, they now want to implement first right of refusal at the federal level if this bill were to pass and be signed in legislation, which is just like, how are you going to tell me who I can and can't sell my home to if I take out the loan and I'm paying the loan off? I think a lot of people don't realize how great the free market is And what capitalism really gives you, it gives you the option of choice until the government comes in there and steps in. And then they want to blame, oh, well, capitalism is failing us. Capitalism is failing us. No, the government has played into market manipulation. They've overprinted money. And now these home prices are overinflated. I'm a young 26-year-old, and I can tell you one thing, that I don't want any more of these handouts. What we need is lower taxes. We need the government to stop printing money, so that way we can bring down the prices of homes. We don't need any more of these grant programs and any more of these stimulus checks, because if we keep doing that, the houses just get overinflated. There's a reason why this $500,000 home that only has maybe 1,700 square feet to it is costing the way it does. And it's because they believe that all of these homes around it that's been appraised for that amount is justified, and it's not. It's through years and years of overprinting into the money supply that the federal government loves to do. And if we just examine the Federal Reserve pass legislation that doesn't allow for currency manipulation, then we can get back to an actual free market economy. But now everybody just wants, oh, well, you know, Zoran gave out free groceries in New York and we get free houses. And I'm like, okay, but how are we going to pay for that? Well, everybody will just exchange their labor. Okay, so can I just give you a hug then for building me a 3-story house? How exactly are we gonna get through that? But I'll land there. I just think that at this point, the government is the issue, not the solution.
Yeah, and what I would just simply add to that is government regulations that drive up the cost of building homes and things like that. For instance, in Colorado, they've driven things up so badly, but also including these legal things that inhibit defect laws, right? Where the lawyers they've driven up the price so high. I think we started out where there used to be about 30 companies that build townhomes and those sorts of starter things that people would get into. We're down to maybe 2 or 3 today.
Partially too, that airport, when they had all those demonic statues, I think they're still there. I just knew something was going wrong, and it could only point to one thing, and it had to be the liberal agenda. And you know, you see all those horses the moment you walk in there, and it's like, hi, welcome to Denver. I'm like, well, when is the first flight out so I can get back to my house?
I mean, we see it happening. The Democrat Party at this point is no longer the Democrat Party of 20 or 30 years ago. They are actually the Communist Party of America. I think they are out and overt with it at this point. They've explained and laid out what their plan is. That came out about 2 weeks ago. And at this point, I think people need to take heed to what their plans are. I mean, when you start talking about the government coming in and getting a first right of refusal, that is communism. That's what that is. The problem is we have entirely too many people that don't know. If you too young, but Chris Rock had he did a stand-up bit, and he was talking about, you know, he was using the N-word, but he was saying how much folks don't like to know stuff and are proud about not knowing anything. Man, I don't know nothing about none of that.
Brother Wise, you can't age me like that, man. I know about that one. You know, there's a difference between, yep, I know.
Yes.
I know exactly what
and he's
you're
like,
talking
man,
about.
folks know, they love not to know something, but the Democrats love you to not know something as well.
There you go.
Well, yeah.
There you go. There was a commercial company, I think it was Sims Corporation. They had a slogan called "The educated consumer is our best customer." Well, for the Dems, man, an uninformed American is their best victim.
Yes.
They love people that don't know nothing. They can do whatever they want to do with them. But the sister in the video, she said, I want to know what you think is going on. She asked people what's going on. And what's going on, as you said, is the Democratic policy showing its results. And this is the results of Democratic policy. And then you said, how long is it going to take for them to come to their senses? You know, it's been happening so long and there's so much evidence. Well, yeah, you're right. And I was thinking about that when this was going on. I said, man, how long is it going to take for people to come to their senses? They have all this evidence of what Democratic policy does, and yet they still vote in Democrat. You know, it's insane. And I asked how long it's going to take for them to wake up. They call themselves woke, but they're not woke. They still sleep because they obviously aren't taking the evidence that's being presented to them by the policies and the danger of those policies. It's sad. It really is really sad. I think that it's really sad that people are are so psychologically conditioned in order to feel good about themselves. How do you destroy your life and feel good about it? I mean, that's a heck of a deception there. The solution is to keep this information before the people's face. And I have to add this addendum: keep it to their face in a way they can understand. You can't be intellectual with them. You got to dumb it down so where it's so clear to them what's going on that they can't miss it. One thing about why they're so effective is that they dumb down their messages, and they really zero in on where people can get emotional about what they hear.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that when we present our message, not only is exposing the danger of their policy, but also communicate to them the importance of that they understand what's actually happening. They have to understand it, because they can't understand it, they can't be enlightened, they can't be helped. My sister Crystal's here. Many of them were once Democrats. They got enlightened. They got red pill. At some point, they got to see what was happening. And she, like anybody that was in her situation, can tell you how she got enlightened and why that's so important.
Democrats don't run on their policies. They will not tell their constituents what their actual plans are. They run on emotionalism.
There you go.
They
That's
run
right.
on, name calling, the ridicule of the other side, which is, what is that? Rule number 5? Am I right on that?
Number 5, Saul Alinsky,
Yeah.
number 5.
Yeah, Saul Alinsky, rule number 5. That's how they run races. Because the reality of it is, if Democrats actually ran on their policies and actually said, hey, we're planning to do A, B, and C, X, Y, and Z, most sane people would say, oh, heck no, we can't support this. So they know, and they know that their policies are crazy. They know that their policies are wicked. They know that they're demonic. So they don't speak on the policy. They will tell you, hey, Orange Man's bad.
Yeah.
Hey, I know things are crumbling all around you, but it's Trump's bad, and I'm running to stop Trump. They've been sensationalized, and obviously, TDS is a real thing. And honestly, I think TDS is something that it needs to be studied. Somebody needs to take some time and do a 10 or 15 year study on Trump derangement syndrome.
My brother said it because I know it.
Yes.
God will not be mocked. When you decided you were going to put evil into that place, then you told God, get out. We want no parts. Right. Yeah. So the fact that horse is called Lucifer, that right there tells you everything you need to know. Start off with that. You basically told God, get up out of here. We don't want you here. We got it. And because that's what y'all decided to do, this is what happens. The other side of it is they don't run on policies, they run on feelings. But I need people to understand, the one thing that I will always say over and over that I give to the progressives, the liberals, whatever you want to call them, the Democrats, they're always everywhere. They're everywhere. They're always in the communities. They're always, so even if they're on emotionalism, they're running on emotionalism in the communities.
That's right.
They're having the conversations and so on and so forth. Listen, I have my own beliefs. I don't care what nobody says, because I really think Spencer Pratt is really the mayor of Los Angeles. That's just how I feel. But Spencer Pratt, like Donald Trump, so effective because the things that the Democrats do say, they would come back and be like, okay, so how's that going to work? Because this is what it's going to take for you to do this, this, and this, and this. Mayor Bass, you said that I'm going to do this. Why haven't you done it yet? Why skip roll like this? So it's like, it's not just for us to vote red till we dead, because voting red till you're dead, you end up with rhinos. You need to figure out who's in place. That's number one. And number two, you need to have those conversations. Like if you are running, I watch here in Georgia, Keisha Lance Bottoms, who failed as a mayor, is now in place to be, she is a Democrat nominee for governor. How do you fail as a mayor?
My goodness.
And then we need to promote you to governor. Makes no sense. And so she's talking about Rick Jackson. Now, I'm still trying to figure out who this Rick Jackson guy is. I'm still doing my work on him. He seems okay, but I'm still doing my homework on him. But at the end of the day, I hear him talking about policies while she's talking about, he's going to be Trump's favorite governor. What does that have to do with anything? Why are you telling us this? That has nothing to do with affordability. That has
no policy.
Talking about, and that is our job. When we are speaking to the people in the communities, whatever, we need to point out they're not saying anything. What are they actually going to do? Weren't they in office before? What exactly? Let me tell you what Keisha did when she was in mayor, because she said she's about small businesses, but yet during the summer love, the small businesses were burnt down to a crisp. So tell me how she is for the small business. That is what we're supposed to do. That is what people who are running are supposed to do. That's what people in the community are supposed to do. We are supposed to speak up, because we already know most of these voters don't know anything. They don't know the 3 branches of government. They don't know what a policy is. They don't know who their representative is. Half of them don't even know where they're supposed to go to vote. How am I supposed to go and vote? Like, they don't know nothing. And the Democrats come in and usher all of them in. And I can tell you that because I used to work for them. I'm telling y'all, they were setting up rides for these people because people didn't have rides to get to go vote. They were setting up rides. They were showing up. We know, and mind you, it's nonpartisan, but they're still letting you know we're coming out to support you. And who are you voting for? Have you looked at John Ossoff? Have you looked at Warnock? That is literally what the talking point was. So they're seeing people that are coming out to the community, that's coming to help, giving rides, helping give back to school supplies and all that. And there's no red until you're dead people in there. There's only blue no matter who people in there. So they believe these are the people that are protecting them. And it's time that we start showing up, and it's time that we start speaking out, because you can't sit down here behind your little wall and say, I want something different, but you're not doing anything. And you're giving the people the red carpet to take over everything. And this is why these cities starting to look the way that they look. That is why Denver looks the way it looks.
I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, it can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.